Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're here with another Wednesday episode sponsored by Gray Fox Games. So, how's it going, guys?
Nothing. Didn't drive cross country or play a fuckload of games this last week.
Well, you didn't drive across country. You drove across like a state and a half.
Well, Kansas...
Technically, we drove across two
states.
states. Yeah.
Technically, Kansas feels like forever.
It's
so
true.
That kind of counts as the whole country.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you drove from California to, I don't know, New York, and you drove through Kansas, it would somehow take up 80% of the drive.
I mean, I'll tell you, when I drove from Portland to Georgia, Kansas was still the worst part.
Basically, fuck Kansas.
Fuck Kansas police officers, all of them.
Yeah.
Did you guys get pulled over?
Yeah, for like 90 seconds.
I didn't hear that. About that.
He pulled us over. Well, I didn't even see him at all.
What? Yeah, because this was like 6 or 7 hours into the drive.
Yeah.
So
like hardcore Kansas.
Yeah.
And
I was sleeping on the side, and then
I look out the left, and I was like, there's a police officer just kind of right to our rear left. And I was just like, I guess I'm going to start slowing down and pulling over because there's no way he's not pulling us over right now. And then he did. I can only assume he saw it was like, oh, it's a Colorado rental car. Whatever the rental agreement was probably a week or two beforehand because your Lyft thing, rental, whatever, renews every once in a while.
Yeah, it renews every week, and then I have to re-up it every 28 days.
Gotcha. And he was probably like, new rental car agreement from Colorado. There's no way these assholes aren't just driving marijuana across my state.
The Mary J. Wanna.
Yeah. And pulled us over.
Because Jeff was going the insane speed of 81.
81 miles an hour in a 75.
Yep.
So it's not like I was speeding.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like how you did the air quotes because you were speeding.
Yeah, technically.
There were people that were speeding much more than I was, however. And he also complained about the like little phone arm thing on the dash. He was like, you should take that down because something about 100 feet and
it can block a
field of
car
view.
from 100 feet, but I have it in a space where a car's never gonna be
in
where it
that
is.
space. Yeah.
And also how eyes work. Like there's only like a tire I can't see at one time, but that's about it.
So he was definitely pulling us over to see if we had pot in the car because we're from Colorado.
I would guess, yeah.
Because he looked at my license, didn't even run it, just sort of saw the rental agreement in your hands and didn't even look at it.
Well, and that's true. And also he was just like, it's like, where's your insurance? And you're like, well, he's like, is this your car? And he's just like, no, it's this guy's car. And I had 5 seconds into waking up, and I was just like, it's like my car. It's Hertz's car. And then he's like, oh, it's a rental. And I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, how long have you had it? Well, I've had it like 6 months, but it's a week at a time. But it's like a 2 hours.
It's from Lyft. Yeah. He's like, what are you guys doing? I was like, we're going to a board game convention in St. Louis. And then he just left.
Yeah.
Didn't check, literally checked nothing.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't help too that how I had my arms behind my head, but I was laid back, so my arms in a way that they were sort of numb. So when I came up, so I was trying to get the stuff for him, but my arms were like at 50% capacity for working.
So only 25% each arm.
Exactly, yeah.
Good thing he didn't check the trunk full of beer, but
yeah.
He saw the back seat full of board games.
Yeah, and he's like, these are just a bunch of nerds.
These guys are too nerdy to be doing fucking anything.
Doing weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we get into Geekway,
I'm just talking about Kansas.
You're not wrong, but that's into Geekway.
I'm just talking about police officers.
I get it. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to continue talking about
this.
Geekway.
Isn't the what we've been playing section.
No,
yet,
I know.
Zach.
No,
we
no.
haven't worked to that yet.
I know. I'm saying you should just deal your shit first, and then we can just do Geekway as just a Geekway thing.
Fine.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Geekway.
Yeah.
I'm real bitter about it. I discovered Geekway in our friend group, and it was amazing. And I got all these other people to finally go, and then I couldn't go. And they were all real dicks and tagged me in shit all weekend.
Yes.
And it was not nice. I was very, very jealous. Not envious. Normally it's envious. No, I was jealous.
Yeah.
Jealousy was in play. Instead, it was Megan's birthday on Thursday. So Thursday I got off work and we went and we had a nice dinner. Her brother's in town, so we hung out with him a fair amount over the week. And then on the weekend, we left Friday shortly after I got off work, and we went down to a small little town called Cotopaxi, down on the Arkansas River, just a little bit outside between Canyon and Salida, for those of you who know Colorado geography. And we stayed at a KOA campground, and Megan did 2 days of kayaking, and Brian and I did 2 days of sitting around a campfire and drinking and just generally hanging out and eating shitty food. Snacks, mostly. Lots of snacks, Cheetos, frosted animal crackers, things like that.
That's how
And
I
drinking
lived
lots of beer.
over that weekend, too.
Yeah.
Not much farther.
Yeah.
Food-wise.
So it was pretty good. It was Jester's second time going camping, and she did better than the first time. She wasn't up every hour, diarrhea, shitting into the snow.
That's good.
So that was an improvement. She did, however, still have some issues the first night in the tent, where it was a big, busy campground, like a whole shit ton of kayakers. So we were up all night walking around, and anytime somebody would walk within a vague range of the tent,
Half mile.
not quite that bad, but you'd hear the crunch on the gravel, and she would, from dead asleep, all of a sudden be up on all fours, real stiff. Chester, no, we're trying to sleep. Calm, lay the fuck down. Just lay the fuck down. And she did a pretty good job of going back to sleep after most of those. And then the camp quieted down enough, and she slept through the night until she had to get up to go to the bathroom at like 5 a.m, which Megan took care of. I wasn't about to be about that life. And then she did much better the second night. Slept real nice and easy in the tent. So that was cool. It's good trying to ease the dog more into camping, because Megan and I want to do a lot more camping this summer. And that's going to be much easier if the dog is down to sleep in the tent without going nuts. So saw some friends of ours who are also kayakers and also like board games and stuff. We had taught them Terraforming Mars not too long ago. So it's good seeing them. They just finished up buying a house back down in the Highlands. So hopefully we'll be hanging out with them more often. They said they got a big old dining room table specifically with the idea that they could play board games on it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that was about it. It was a long shit fucking drive from Denver down to Cotopaxi, because it was basically all down 25, which is a clusterfuck of construction between Denver and Colorado Springs. And it was like 5 o'clock on a Friday, so fucking everyone and their mother was on the road, and that sucked. That sucked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was basically it. Nothing too exciting, at least on my end. Kind of a nice, relaxing bit of time, though. I'd taken PTO for Saturday and Sunday, so I've been away from work since Friday, which has been nice. But that's been about it for what I've been doing outside of gaming. Gaming-wise, a couple new things. I bought Stardew Valley because it wasn't on sale, but it, for some reason, like, it was the cheapest game on my wish list at the time at like $15. And I was like, fuck it. I've heard enough good things. I'll buy Stardew Valley. Fuck Stardew Valley. Real hard.
Did you ever play any of the Harvest Moon games back in the day?
No.
Okay.
At least not that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from not having any fucking clue what to do at the start of the game.
You dig and then plant things and then make money.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. And money is hard to make because crops don't sell for shit.
You grow beans and cauliflower until you get money.
And they want lots and lots of money for every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And going down in the mines to clear them is full of monsters.
Yes.
And you can't see a damn thing. And so the monsters are attacking you and you just can't see anything. And no matter how much energy you have, you promptly fall asleep wherever you are at 2 a.m., which is very true to real life. You just immediately collapse at 2 a.m. And whoever picks you up takes 10% of your money.
Back in the day, some of those games, they would sort of hit, like, they wouldn't have like a clock like this one does, but they would just sort of, you'd be able to stay up all night, but you'd take like a hit the next morning whenever you went to bed. So that would let you stay up all night and be able to do like all the farming and things like that. But now there's energy systems and clocks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Bring food. Bring food.
Yeah, I brought food.
Good.
Never had any issues with that down there. There's a big dance, a harvest dance or something, a spring dance, and nobody wanted to dance with me. So I was real bitter about that.
Because you weren't giving people gifts?
I've been giving people gifts left and right all the time.
Just a lot of grass and rocks.
No, like flowers.
Okay.
Like gold flowers, silver flowers.
Got to get yourself a wife.
Yeah, I'd love to. I thought the first step to that in a small little farming community would be going to the dance together.
We're still talking about Stardew Valley, right? No, it's just like Adrian's wants and dreams.
Yes.
I wanted someone to dance with me. I've been giving them flowers.
Yeah, and then the last straw for me, really, that pissed me off was I was the interface is shit in markets, and so I bought the sword I wanted for like 1,500 gold, and then I sold the other one, and then I wanted to check something on the new one, and apparently that like no matter what button you click on your mouse, either one, it sells it. So I clicked the different button than the sell, and it still sold it, and then it was like, well, I just worked real hard to save up $1,500 for that sword. Fuck you, game. Control-Alt-Delete, close program. And I have no idea how long it's been since I saved. Probably the night, because I think it saves every time you go to bed.
Yes.
So, but I haven't turned it back on since then. I'm pretty pissed off at it. And the $15 I spent on it. And unfortunately, I crossed the 10 hours and 48.
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours is the line for refunds on Steam.
I far passed the line for the refund on Steam.
Gotcha. You still played it for 10 hours.
That's a lot.
It's probably worth whatever $15 you had at this point.
Maybe. And I'll probably go back and play it some more later, but
it's very
angry at
game.
it right now.
They've done a lot of updates to it since it first came out, but
yeah. Yeah, that's my video games. We won't talk about Game of Thrones since Jeff hasn't seen it. We won't have a Game of Thrones spoiler section.
Correct.
But I did finally finish Game of Thrones. Watched it late Sunday.
It is now over.
It is over. And then game-wise, I didn't really get to play many games. I played Cryptid Wednesday game night, but that's going to be a review, so I'll save that conversation for that on Friday. And then Brian and I, while we were hanging out in the campsite, we did play some Cribbage. I had at least one hand of 20 points in all 3 of the games we played, and we did just a best 2 out of 3. He won the first one, I won the next 2. Skunked him in the second one, so it was
nice.
Ultra smashing. We were playing the friendlier variant of we helped each other keep track of when we missed points.
Yeah, that's
not muggins, and
no need to do that if you don't want to.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun though. I had a good time. Yeah, so that was basically what I did. Some cribbage and camping. Not a lot of gaming, but you guys have Geekway stuff to talk about.
We do. And we're actually just going to talk about it on Friday because we actually did already talk about it, and it was an hour and 15 minutes, and probably even more because we're going to add a little bit before it gets
and then we thought of games that we totally forgot to talk about as well.
Yes.
I would like to point out right here that it was initially my plan to be like, hey guys, maybe we should have a Geekway recap for the Friday. And I can participate because I know Geekway and I'm excited about Geekway and I'm jealous I missed it.
But we had a BGG post.
Yeah,
I know, and then we did the BGG post. So, so for those of you who are
if you hadn't said let's do Cryptid on Friday, then we probably, in desperation, could have done that.
I know I should not have given you that out.
Restriction breeds creativity, Adrian.
Yeah. I would also like to point out, just because of the timing of things and the way we recorded, I'm pretty sure at the end of this episode, I say check out our Cryptid review, or we'll review Cryptid on Friday.
Yeah.
That Cryptid review will be like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So just when you hear that part, just be like, Adrian, you're lying to me again.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
So yeah. But instead of Geekway,
we actually had a whole Kingdom Death that we can talk about.
Which you did on Tuesday after we recorded last week.
Yes.
You were going to do it on the weekend.
Yep.
A hot weekday Kingdom Death.
Yeah.
And then somebody bailed for the weekend.
The weekend one,
and so then you had to move to Tuesday. So you couldn't talk about it last week on the show. So
and
here it is.
And we complained about not being able to do it then, but
Yes.
we were able to find some time somehow.
Indeed.
So here you go. Kingdom Death recapping.
Yep. So we started off at like Lantern Year 18.
Yes.
This was just off of last week's quick murder of something or another while we wrapped up, I think. We did the Gorm level 3. We only
Gorn Climate's gone.
Yep.
And then we immediately got hit with a plague that then moved to the next year too.
Yeah. Thankfully we had ammonia, which will make that actually easy as long as you don't roll 1 or 2 on the original, where it's just you're dead.
Yep.
Which we did.
We're dead and it spreads.
It's dead and it comes back next year.
Yeah.
But then it's literally like a 1+ on treatment for anyone that rolled a 3 or higher. And if you roll like a 9 or a 10, it's just like everyone else is treated and there's no more plague. The following year that went fine. We didn't really lose anyone else to that. We did a quick like level 2 antelope or something like that, just to try and get some more resources of this or that. And then we had our next nemesis encounter, which this was later on in the day. We only played for like 3 hours or so.
Yes, yeah.
So we really only did 2 encounters. But the Slenderman level 2
appeared,
which is our expansion nemesis that replaces the Kingsman.
The hand.
The hand. Yeah. The Kingsman's still in there.
Yeah, I think the Kingsman is the one. It's the one that has the focus that like is like once you hit it, it's like you can't hit me anymore like that.
His defenses are based against your auras.
Yes.
And your synergies.
That guy's still around.
That guy's I don't think I've fought him at all.
You're fine not doing it. It's a bunch of bullshit. And I think we still keep playing that one wrong. Like we keep forgetting certain things are up or like
he is definitely the most complicated I've run into in the game.
Yep.
Slenderman though, he's basically a guy that we keep forgetting we fought in game.
In game.
We remember fighting him.
Yeah, I mean,
because he really sucks.
Paul, we got our gloom coated arrow because of him. So
which is basically a shotgun arrow.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So the Slenderman sort of starts in the beginning, and we all start in corners, and all of his stuff really sucks. He basically, there's the thing, amnesia. He just disappears off the board and then reappears like behind people. He just fucks with your memory basically, and just sort of teleports around and smashes you. Going into this, I was like, I think I'm going to take a new person. I don't want to fight this dude with my nice person, and I took a brand new person, and I'm glad I did. Because we'll get to that at the end.
Spoilers.
We got one of his cards that came up pretty early, which was a big pain in the ass. It was like worm expulsion or something that. And if you were insane, which his whole thing is,
he makes you insane.
He makes you insane a lot, and
because there's a guy just teleporting around, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
And you can get a really good. You have to roll over a certain number to ignore a lot of his abilities, and that number is your insanity. But he gives you insanity all the time. If you have none, you just auto succeed. And then he teleports and smashes you and makes you like run in a straight line equal to your insanity value. So
that card. Yeah.
So you can't move 5 anymore and go like up one to the right, up one to the right. It's move forward 11. And you have to move max value.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to like do what you need to do. I guess if you were in the right line, you could do like collision against him, but I think you would just run into him and fall down at that point.
Yeah.
Collision's weird. So that mood was in play the whole time, and the only way to get rid of it was to pull someone out of their pod imprisonment. Pod imprisonment is when he pulls you into another dimension of pain and spikes. Imagine Hellraiser, and you're in that universe now, and you have to roll on a table, and it just makes you bleed and die. The easiest way to get someone out is to roll on the brain trauma table, which is like those severe injury tables where you just die on a 1 or a 2.
Yep.
Otherwise, you get a bunch of disorders and more insanity. D10 insanity.
Yeah, and you're like, I just got out.
Paul rolled a 10 on that, and that one, basically nothing happens, and you actually get some good stuff, but then you get D10 insanity.
Which you rolled 10 on.
Bad against this guy.
Yeah, he rolled D10 and then immediately got pulled back into the spot.
Yeah.
Pretty much it is.
We ended up in a really nasty last combo. He kept getting his trap card at the worst time. His trap is really bad. It's everyone that isn't the person that got the trap card gets pod imprisoned, and then the Slenderman comes and does a basic attack against you, which is like 4 dice, 2+ to hit, like 5 damage a hit. I thankfully was the person that was really getting pummeled with that. I have really good armor, and it was just hitting me in the right spots, just kind of getting each one of those spots down to 0. I only had 1 spot that had any armor left on it.
I think that was your head.
It was my waist.
Oh yeah, it was your
because
waist,
that was the perfect spot. That's the spot where I want to get hit because I actually have a +1 to the severe injury table on there, so I only die on a 1. But it was not to be because as a spear specialist, if I ever pulled the trap on a 7+, trap's negated, and we just reshuffle the hit deck. It's just like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I had 2 opportunities this game to actually use that skill and failed both of them.
Yeah.
And got fucked up both times. First time I did all right. Second time, Not so all right.
No, you did not.
I think I took 3 severe injuries, just crippling blow after crippling blow. I think I didn't die. And then finally, because I had been pod imprisoned, I finally died from bleeding tokens because I got 2 in the pod and then I got 2 from severe injuries. And then he fucking severe injured me another couple times. And it was just like bleeding token, you've bled out and you're dead. So I'm glad I took a new person.
Yeah.
Everyone else fared much better.
Yeah.
At the end of that, we
it let me do. So I had the spinal ganglia disorder, which
we've had for a while,
and it triggered on during showdowns every time someone got a severe, or not a severe, but a mental disorder.
Which this happens a lot in this one.
In this one, it was like you get a token after 3, you give someone this teleport ability, and so we gave it to Dan.
Yeah,
which was good.
So now he has like a super cool like teleport power.
But we also can't end near him.
We can't end our movement next to him ever again.
Yeah, voluntarily.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got a cool ability out of that.
Yeah.
I got horrendously murdered. But the Slenderman's got a weird end. It's like, and you all forget that you've ever fought this guy, and you get some weird dark water resources, which is a whole other building mechanic.
Which we turned into give Paul some more armor, which is good because he has the raw hide,
which is the first set.
Yeah, so now he has like 3 armor in each,
Ooh.
which is good, but most things hit for, especially like level 2 or 3, for like 4 or 5 damage.
4 or 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan and I are still the big shield people, or not shield people, just armor people.
You have your awesome armor set.
Yeah, I have like 7 armor everywhere and then 9 elsewhere for my chest.
Yeah.
And then I also got my shield shield specialization, which is great because now it gave me an extra +1 everywhere. And then I can no longer be hit. Collision doesn't knock me down anymore.
Yeah, because you're a big tank.
But it's funny is that I also have tumble. So
Tumble's sort of wasted?
No, I mean, I still use tumble every time and it's successful every time. So it's like, I'm not going to hit or I'm not going to fall, but I can still jump away if I want to. And it happened 2 or 3 times during that antelope fight, and other people got hit the same time I did. And the big shield guy, was able to tumble out of the way. And then the Dan just got rammed each
run
time.
Over.
Yeah. But now,
and in that antelope fight, I was really close. So the antelope has a special death thing where if anyone ever has 20 or more insanity at the end of a screaming antelope fight, they just wander off into the distance insane and die. That. Yeah. So I was really scared about dying because my insanity was getting so high. And that's why I didn't want to bring it into the Slenderman. And then we realized that you literally set to 0 at the beginning of that fight, and I was like, shit. So now I have someone with like 17 insanity.
Yeah. If only you were immortal, then you'd be like, yes, I will take everything.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely.
But now we unlock the Watcher.
Well, ultra spoilers there, because that's a real end game thing that a lot of people might not know of, or know how to unlock, or how it is happening.
Well, I mean, it's on the sheet. It's like level 19.
Yes, they know what that is, the Watcher.
Yes.
So we have gotten to the Watcher.
Yeah.
I don't know if we really want to explain much about the Watcher.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we don't have to say it, but it's a new thing to fight.
Yes, and it's in the base box. Yep. I mean, the Watcher's in there. You can know what it looks like because you have the mini for it.
Yep.
It is ultra interesting. It used to be the old end boss. They added in a new end boss, the Gold Smoke Knight.
Yes.
But this was the original end boss.
Yeah.
And it has some interesting mechanics.
It does. So I depending on how these go, I mean, obviously if we can make it to the Gold Smoke Knight and beat him, cool. Yeah. But after that ends, whether it's good or bad, we're going to, start our new campaign. Going to do the Tyrant, so the Dragon.
Yep, the Dragon Knight campaign.
Dragon King.
Dragon King campaign.
And add a bunch of expansion, as many as we can safely do, I think.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and do more, like, different weapons this time.
Yeah,
we were looking at, like, one of them, so that the thing about you walking off into the darkness, the whip, I remember seeing the whip, but we never took it.
Yeah.
Like, it's either mastery or specialization is when someone wanders away, you can attack them with the whip, and you basically are like, "Fuck off! You're not running away."
It was a specific whip.
Oh, it was a specific
It
one.
was, it was one of the manacles.
Manacles. That's what it was.
Which is a whip weapon. Like when we fail in intimacy and like the parents walk off into the darkness, we can just be like, "No, you don't. You are locked up in jail.
Yeah.
Sorry, your kid died in childbirth, but you ain't going nowhere."
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's this game.
Yeah. Dark.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like if anything would cause someone to just kind of wander off and like air quotes die, you can just put them. You can roll and put manacles on them and make it so they don't die. Yeah. Try some more different weapons. We've kind of been like sword and bow and.
Well, we haven't even done sword. We've done
spear.
Yeah,
spear is what I meant.
Bow, and
club.
Well, now it's
shield was the newest, I guess.
Yeah, shield and the newest. Axe was it before, so it was mainly those four. So we're gonna try the swords.
We had a decent monster claw for a little while.
Yeah, try that. So yeah.
But if things don't go well against the Watcher, it's pretty much over for our campaign.
Probably, yeah.
And spoiler alert, the Watcher gets more powerful the more years you wait to fight him.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like do it now, do it later. It's
So yeah.
That's Kingdom Death Monster.
Right on.
Just kind of a quick two hunt session.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's your next session?
June 2nd.
Okay, so a couple weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have an idea what you're going to be doing on that one?
Might go fight
the Watcher. I mean, I kind of don't want to because I want to see like some of the other more stuff. But like if we die, we go back. We are back to 0 if we lose.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to get back to this point for many months of sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's basically we do it now, and then if we don't, we have to go fight the Butcher at level 3, which might really suck. And it's our characters can't get much stronger than what we have, and they can only get worse. Yeah.
Yeah, we can only really diversify.
Yeah.
Is really all we can do at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
right on. So that wraps up what we've been playing. There's not a Bloody Minute per se because you don't have like a match report, which is the normal Bloody Minute.
Correct.
But while you were Geekway and I was off camping, Ant ran a tournament.
Yes.
So we can hear a little bit about that.
Yep.
Yes. It was the largest tournament in Colorado so far. It was at Strange, and it was also the same day as Strange's anniversary. So I wonder how that went.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But our new tournament system is in, which there's kind of going to be like an overall yearly winner now for the tournaments and stuff. So I was second after the first one. Wasn't at this one because we were all gone. So we'll see how
you do in the future?
Yeah, how I do in the future. I think I fell to like 11th or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, on that note,
moving on to news. First up in news, all the Spiel de Jahres things were announced. All 9 of them plus recommendations.
yes,
I've played 2 of them.
same.
I believe so as well.
I continue to feel like I'm increasingly out of touch with Spiel de Jahres. I wonder how long it's going to keep having a lot of relevance in the wider board gaming sphere. Like, it's a German prize, and it's meant for German families, and it regularly includes games that aren't even available in most major board game markets. And so I'm just curious, like, how long it keeps being super relevant.
I would say
there's nothing to really replace it, which I think is what's going to keep it going. But if somebody came up with a, game of the year in some other fashion, similar to how Spiel's ran, like Spiel just has credibility because they're like one of the only game of the year. Awards out there.
There are a bunch of conventions do them too. So, but I don't know.
Dice Tower does it, I think.
Dice Tower does it.
Yeah, Origins does some kind of awards, but
yeah.
It's interesting to me that some of those haven't taken off more in terms of boosting a game's cred than Spiel. Like Spiel seems to be like still the thing to aspire to.
Well, and
despite the fact that I feel like the vast majority of games would never even be considered for Spiel. Like increasingly when I look at their Kennerspiel, the enthusiast games, and they're light fucking games.
Well, I think what's the heaviest game we've seen on that one? I don't think it's like it is. Like you said, Quacks is on there. I would say it's like you got Gateway and then maybe Gateway Plus. I feel like that's what those two feel like to me.
Right.
So-
Which ignores a huge portion
Yeah,
of
no, you're not wrong.
So,
But I feel like that's what they're going for. So I don't know.
I get that that's what Spiel's going
Yes.
for. But I'm surprised that the gaming hobby as a whole hasn't found some other like benchmark for measuring.
I don't know because I feel like
even
no
like
matter
the
what
BGG awards, would be a better
But those are all just community voted.
Yeah.
right. And the BGG community vote is,
I feel like whatever it is, people are going to complain about it. So
I mean, yes, of course, people always complain that their
yes.
favorite game isn't the best
Yeah,
game of the year.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, the list here. Since
40th anniversary of the Spiel de Jahres Awards this year.
But the list, so in Spiel, is just one, Llama, and Wetterworter,
Werewords.
which is, Werewords. For Kennerspiel, Carpe Diem, Detective, and Wingspan.
Shocker.
Yeah. And then Kinderspiel is Fablunatica, Go Gecko Go, and Taldet or Linkinger.
Yeah. No idea about those, but I feel like it's going to be just one and Wingspan.
Yep. Which is disappointing because I don't think Wingspan's even remotely game of the year in any. I mean, maybe as a gateway game of the year.
I would say.
If you're phrasing it like you did.
Yeah.
But man, that game had no staying power for me. I would be okay if I never played Wingspan again.
I am also in that boat.
Yeah.
But man, that game was nuts at Geekway.
Oh yeah. No, people
I'm sure people are still going crazy.
Exactly.
For
That's.
it.
I mean, so.
Which I feel like a lot of that is because most people haven't had a chance to play it because it's had its shortage issues, which we'll talk about more later.
Yeah,
But
the hype is still off the scale for that game.
Yeah.
But coming soon,
yeah, we'll soon
To a
hear
Spiel de
who
Jahres
actually won.
winner. I did grab Detective at one point and wanted to play that, but didn't get around to it.
So yeah, that's our Spiel update for now.
For now. Next up in news, Terraforming Mars is getting a dice game.
Yeah, so this is based on, the sketchiest of information.
I heard a guy that said that he saw it. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
a Reddit
took
user got a
pictures-
picture of a
couple
box that
pictures.
said Terraforming Mars dice game in the Fricks Games booth at a expo in Stockholm.
Well, yeah, but then he talked to him. He got a picture of the prototype that they were dealing with, and the 3D printed dice that they were using. So obviously, it's being developed, but it looks like it's a lighter version of it that's supposed to play in about an hour, I think. So,
God, an hour-long dice game?
No
thanks. Yeah, it says here that based on what they told him in the demo, you're going to be exchanging dice from a pool of custom cubes for resources needed to introduce water, plant life, and oxygen, as well as building cities, acquiring cards similar to the original board games projects. They can be activated by spending their cost in dice results. Dice can also be placed on a central board. Points scored based on the placement of resources and settlements, with the end of the game triggered in the same way when you max out oxygen, temperature, and water. So I don't know. I'm not really interested in a dice version of Terraforming Mars. It's
you
so far outside of my wheelhouse.
exactly. I would be interested.
If it played shorter, sure, but not an hour-long dice game.
I play Arkham Horror. That's a 3-hour dice game.
I don't.
True.
So no, yeah, it's not for you. You still got Terraforming Mars. So
Yep. But I'm sure we'll have more information about Terraforming Mars, the dice game, as more information becomes available. That's not just hearsay, even if it is hearsay from somebody who spoke directly to Fricks Games people at their booth.
Next up in news, the world of board games is losing their shit because there could be some tariffs headed their way, increasing everything by 25%.
Yeah, so this dropped I want to say Monday of last week, right before recording. We didn't quite have time to digest it enough to really talk about it.
yeah,
But essentially here in the States, our president, regardless of what you may think of him as an individual, he's liking to try and play trade war games with China. And he's doing that by doing some new tariffs on a wide variety of games, or wide variety of things, which happens to include
Hobby
toys,
things.
board games, and dice
yeah.
as one of the They're listed under section 9503.00.00 toys, including riding toys other than bicycles, puzzles, reduced scale models. And then also under 9504.90.60, chess, checkers, backgammon, darts, and other table and parlor games played on boards of a special design and parts thereof, poker chips, and dice. Aside from the ridiculousness of how those things are categorized in U.S. trade, which is crazy, they're falling under these tariffs, which would be potentially up to 25%. I've seen a variety of different takes on how much this will impact, ranging from nothing at all, your games will cost like a couple bucks extra, if anything, to, oh my God, the sky is falling, and all of the designers and publishers that are basically people working out of their garages are going to go under.
It looks like it's really going to be a setback for anyone who has like razor thin margins.
Yeah.
The people that aren't trying to do it for a living, that are just trying to do it to support their hobby.
Yeah. So like one example I saw was Clay from Capstone on a Facebook post that he had done had speculated that for him it was looking like an increase of $5,000 per shipping container, which is still a lot of games. So spread that 5,000 out, it might not be that much, but it'll really vary. You know, it also will depend a lot on
whereas Rob Davio was like, this could ruin. This could.
Well, Clay seemed pretty worried about it.
Well, I'm sure.
Rob Davio tweeted that he was, he thought it could ruin him. I'm curious who's like going to be the most affected. You know, I feel like Kickstarters would be one that really get fucked by this. Like, say CMON had just closed on a big game. I don't think they have super recently enough to. I don't know how quickly these tariffs would take effect. I know they're not immediately. There's some hearings.
There's some confirmation stuff and discussions still going on. So it could, it could not even
could become a total non-issue,
which would be good.
Yes,
but it's not great for the hobby. It sounds like.
Yeah, so like if a company like CMON had done a Kickstarter based around a certain amount of costs, and then word came back that all of those, the base cost of the components from China were all going to be 25% higher, that could cause some struggles there. So
I think it'd really screw any of those companies like Colossal or the ones where they tried to have Kickstarters to help run other Kickstarters.
Yeah, when you're almost becoming, not that I'm saying Colossal's a Ponzi scheme, but when you turn into kind of a Ponzi scheme of like, this is funding this, you run into issues there. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. I think that I'm kind of two minds about some of the tariffs, and others, like the board game ones, I think are stupid because board games are a super elastic demand. So if they go up, it'll likely result in reduced sales, so you're not going to earn any more money from tariffs. China is not going to have any issues. Like, I don't think it's going to affect China that much having these tariffs. Like, so it's really just doing nothing other than hurting the industry.
Well, and I don't think it's going to push many people to try and produce in the U.S. because we don't have.
Well, shit, no.
Yeah. I'm saying I feel some of the tariffs are to try and get more of the
manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing on our side,
which is, not to turn this into an economics podcast, but that's fucking stupid. Like 25% isn't a high enough tariff, I don't think, to encourage any company to invest a shit lot more than 25% in building new factories, training new workers, paying new workers, especially here in America where we have the minimum wages and the healthcare and all the other unless they can find some way to, turn it into Lyft where all of the employees are subcontractors who don't actually work and they don't have to pay them any benefits or minimum wages or anything.
Yeah, a bunch of bullshit.
But there's no real good way to do that in a factory setting.
Yeah, exactly.
If there was, Amazon would have done it already.
Yeah, that's true. We'll definitely have to see where this goes.
I think worst thing we'd see is if these stick and if they stick long term, we'd probably see some of the manufacturing move to other countries like, I don't know, Vietnam or Mexico.
Or they produce it in China and then they have to ship it somewhere else and then bring it to us.
Yeah.
So it's just...
it doesn't seem like it, especially for North America, it's not going to do any good. It might do good for people like in other areas who can get around those issues. there might be some producers in Europe who are like, sweet, Americans aren't buying from China anymore, which means our shipping times just went up.
Yes.
We're moved further ahead in the queue.
Yep.
They have that, which also sucks in a lot of ways.
They might just also just bring it to the coast and just sort of dump them in the coast, and then we have to go and fish them out. So
yeah. We didn't import them; they just washed up here.
Yeah, they just washed up here.
The hearings on this don't even start till June 17th, which is still a little less than a month out. So
and it doesn't seem to affect anything that's on the boat right now. It would only affect anything shipping after the conclusion of those decisions.
So there's some leeway in time there where hopefully companies will have a chance to forecast and adjust their prices accordingly. And depending, if it is only a couple bucks, maybe overall this is a luxury hobby after all, so a couple bucks might not really affect demand too much. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure we'll hear more once those hearings start. And then if it goes through, the tariffs could be implemented anytime after June 24th, which is about a month out. So we'll see how that all develops and whether it's actually as bad as some people are saying, or if it's a nothing burger like other people are saying, or as is likely the case, somewhere in between.
Next up in news, this also was sort of a thing that happened right at the record time last week.
Monday was a big day.
There's apparently a bit of a tiff between Stonemaier Games and Gaming Goat, a board gaming store chain / franchise across the country.
Yeah, so apparently their Gaming Goat is I had never heard of them before this, but they are supposedly one of the largest retail tabletop companies in the U.S. market. 22 companies across the U.S. in 7 metros, ranging from 550 to 3,000 square feet, everywhere from Kewanee, Illinois to Las Vegas Boulevard, which I've been to Vegas a few times, and I didn't know there was a Gaming Goat there, so I don't know. They're expanding into Asian markets, all these things. This guy went on this whole big, basically, I'm establishing my credibility as somebody to talk a bunch of shit in a public forum about Jamie Stegmaier. And then went on to talk a lot of shit about Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games, claiming that he's done a lot to kind of undercut them, and that a lot of things he's said about Wingspan and the issues with copies of that were misleading. And this turned into multiple Reddit threads, multiple BGG posts, and just kind of got out of hand in some ways. I've been trying to peruse it over the last week or so, amidst doing, my life.
It sort of started out with Stonemaier announcing that they wouldn't be selling to certain distributors anymore.
Yeah, so there's been a few different things from Stonemaier recently about the whole process here with Wingspan, especially, and they link here Gaming Goat in their first post links Stonemaier Games open letter to distributors and retailers. We talked about that on the show where he was like, hey, we need to work together better and make sure we understand where things are and forecasting and all of that. They also, they being Stonemaier, so really Jamie, also posted 2 weeks ago an article saying that any stores that put out false information about Stonemaier would be banned from Stonemaier's distribution lists. And then a week later, Gaming Goat pops up and is like, fuck him, and talked a lot of shit. It's really kind of been all over the place. I think I have to agree with this one particular Reddit user on one of the posts, was currently the top comment there, that basically said that this whole feud between them is spilling out in front of customers and is souring me on both of them, because it's kind of become a lot of he said, she said. That said, reading through a lot of this and looking through the people were talking about the one thread from Gaming Goat was really well sourced and they had all this evidence, but a lot of the evidence doesn't seem to suggest what they are claiming it suggests. At one point he talks about Jamie sending 1,000 copies to Amazon of Wingspan instead of to distributors. And for evidence, he shows a picture of his checkout on Amazon with 1,000 copies of Wingspan, like that they let him put in 1,000 copies of Wing. And it's like, I'm sure you can order however many fucking copies you want. Whether they ship is another matter entirely. And he gets kind of eviscerated in some spots as well. One of my favorites was over on BGG. He posted, and his post was just a link to the Reddit thread that he had done. And one of the top comments, or first comments in that BGG thread was somebody saying, "Hi Jeff, welcome to BGG. As the CEO of a large U.S. retailer, sorry it took until today for you to join a community which Jamie has been involved in for years. Appreciate your initial contribution." Yeah, and then I was reading something else somewhere that apparently Gaming Goat is franchised, so they're not even all like owned necessarily by this one person and managed under the same.
Yeah.
So the blanket ban from Jamie kind of hurts people who might have nothing to do with the CEO who's feuding with him publicly. It's kind of turned into a big mess.
Yep.
Kind of lame. So yeah, I don't know. I've never met this Jeff guy from Gaming Goat. The only other Jeff I've met I've met a lot of Jeffs actually. The only other Jeff I'm really, closely familiar with is sitting at this table here. And I've met Jamie, and Jamie's a really nice guy. So using those 3 bits of information, I can only conclude that Jamie is correct and Jeff is full of shit.
Okay.
So, and then the other Jeff, I don't know him, and I don't know what his claims are saying. So,
Yeah.
Jeff's house.
What God? That was a funny bit from a comedy show. The name of the comedian was
Kyle Kinane.
Kyle Kinane. Like, natural disasters happen to everyone except tornadoes.
It was like, hurricanes, they hit everyone. Floods hit everyone.
Earthquakes, everyone.
Tornadoes, maybe just Jeff's house.
Jeff's house.
This Karen, how's your health? Good? Okay. What about you, Steve? Oh, yours looking good? Then what the fuck is this?
Oh, Karen, you want my insurance information from when my dog hit your car at 90 miles an hour?
Oh, you want to file that under act of God?
What God? I laughed really hard.
I actually had to pause it so Jeff could get that out of his system so we can continue
hit your
listening.
car at 90 miles
an hour. Did I tell you just listened to this on the drive?
Oh,
to,
yeah.
Yes.
Geekway? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very fresh.
Well,
and
it's like how I brought you to I introduced you to Paul F. Tompkins. I was like, Jeff, have you heard Kyle Kinane? No, 4 albums, bam,
in your face.
Yep.
Yeah. It was real good. And that's it for news.
Indeed. We'll see. The Stonemaier thing is kind of settled out. It kind of blew up, and so we threw it on the list to talk about. It's settled. We'll see if there's more later.
Yeah.
But indeed.
Wingspan still causing nightmares.
Yeah, you guys said it was super popular still at Geekway.
People were handing off the game at the play and win. Like, it didn't even hit the shelf level of popularity.
Cray.
We now move on to Kickstarters.
Indeed we do.
First up in Kickstarters is a game Canopy. It is a board game bag. Very well funded, though. 74,000 of its $5,500 goal. 488 backers. It has 2 weeks left to go, and you can get this for about $170.
Yeah. Fuck. That's definitely the one everybody's mostly going for. Wow. Everybody went hard on that early bird that's not around anymore.
Where you saved $10.
Yes.
But still $30.
$160.
Yeah. But it will be like $200 retail. So.
So yeah, it's a board gaming bag. And I got to be honest, it looks like every other board gaming bag that I've really seen that's specifically a board gaming bag. They're rough, like Ziploc, not cubes, but like pillars, rectangular pillars.
Yeah.
Cubish in their length and width, their height.
But they're not
varying.
they're not just like straight zip around the corners. They
That's-
sort of fold over into like the middle and sides. of
Yeah,
the
so
front.
like the zipper like goes up at an angle and then straight up and then across the top and then down and then at an angle again. So when you open it, you can kind of see some of the side of some of the games. It gives you a little bit more
yeah, it's a little
freedom to see in there.
like how you open the top of a deck of cards. It's got the little sleeves in the top and folds in
Yeah.
there. Except build a zipper into it.
Yes. And flip it on its side. Holds a lot of games. They've got some different images here of it chock full. Like, one of them shows like Fireball Island, Pandemic Legacy, Beasts of Balance, which I've never even fucking heard of. and then a bunch of other games that I can barely make out. Pandemic: The Cure, Clank, and some other stuff, all jammed in one of them. Another one has a bunch of Rising Sun shit, Oceanos, Ethnos, and something else. There's a lot of games I don't know their images. Makes me feel like maybe I'm not doing my due diligence as a creator.
But they also offer wheeled carts for all these, so if you really need to haul shit around, this is definitely... They even have like waterproof covers you can get for these things. If you're serious about moving around board games and have $200 to spend on that...
Yeah. The Deep Space is probably the one I would most consider going for. I don't have a lot of games that are that wide, but I have enough that it'd be nice to have a bag that could easily hold them. The only other problem I really have with this is horizontal storage of games is like my least favorite way to store and or transport games. I'm definitely a vertical kind of person. So,
well, I know a lot of the stuff that we have that we use for transport. It would be stupidly hard to do it horizontally in those bags.
But I mean, even when I store them on my shelves,
well,
I store them vertically.
Yeah.
Like, I store games mostly vertically.
Mm-hmm.
There are some exceptions, but not many. So yeah.
Yep. Another bag.
Yeah. Looks like stretch goals are mostly all colors.
Like edge color type stuff.
But yeah, so if you're looking for another, or if you don't have one that works well enough for you as it is,
If you don't have a $1 IKEA bag.
or if you don't go to conventions and have, I don't know, 30 fucking cool stuff bags like I do.
Also, fuck all those people that made us take those games to Geekway and didn't play them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you take
played
a lot of
about
games that didn't get played?
At least 2 full bags of board games that got brought that were not even touched.
Yeah.
I mean, that always happens, though.
To be fair,
That's why I've stopped
To be
bringing
fair.
board games. To be fair, you should just stop taking board
you're
games.
not wrong. No, I agree with that.
Anyways,
Wes brought one game and it got played, so
Good on you, Wes.
Wes gets a A+.
good
I
job.
sent one game because I was trading it with Jake from Draft Mechanic,
Uh-huh.
and I got 3 games back.
Yep.
And I feel pretty happy about that exchange. Thanks, Jake.
But none of them got played, so it was worthless.
I took Cabo
I
and I
was not
played
expecting any of them to get played. So
Cabo.
there you go. But anyway, Game Canopy, if you want bags to carry your games in. A lot of other podcasts have apparently got to have it featured. I don't know how you feature a board game bag on your podcast, but Secret Cabal, Rolling Dice, Taking Names, Dice Tower, Theology of Games, Watch It Played, Slay the Dragon, Geek Dad, Boards Alive, Board Game Quest. Whole lot of people, some of whom I've heard of, and some of whom
There's even a Dice
I
Tower version of this bag where
That's
you can
not
print
surprising.
the Dice Tower on the side of your bag.
Not surprising at all.
Must be nice to get your podcast to a certain point where people just do free advertising for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's been, 15 years since they've started it or whatever?
Oh, look at them. They got a head start on us all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dicks.
Yep.
Someone has to. And also they pump out an insane amount of content. So,
They've got a staff.
yeah, they do.
They have a house that's their fucking, like, studios.
I don't know if they have that anymore.
Oh, yeah, they may have ran into some zoning disputes.
Yes, exactly. And it just gone to a regular, like, office building
I
thing.
see.
I want to have a studio. I was looking into how much it would cost to rent, like, a business space.
Nope.
No.
No.
Nope.
It's like $5 per square foot,
Uh-huh.
which means that this room here that we're in now would probably cost like $500 if we were renting it
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a bigger space. I wanted like 2 rooms.
Nope.
No.
Well, you better start
Anytime
promoting,
soon.
or else that's not going to happen.
That's going to go on as the next stretch goal on the Kickstarter. When we get to
Yeah.
$1,000 a month, we'll get a separate the separate location.
Yes, and then we will be back
A
in the
secondary location.
then back in the red.
Yeah. Right on. That's Game Canopy. Moving on Kickstarters.
Moving on, we have It's a Wonderful World. Very well funded, $155,000 of its $33,000 goal. 2,300 backers, a week left, and you can pledge this one for $65.
So Wonderful World plays 1 to 5 players, takes 30 to 60 minutes, and is in some alternate timeline world of ours. It's another one of those, like, not quite steampunky, but like there's airships and things.
If
Zeppelin
I just
looking.
like how as to alternate world fucking airships. Like that's the one thing that they're like.
It's like if steampunk existed, except now it's like the year 2000, but the airships existed in like the 1850s.
Yes. They have a whole big thing here about like today's the anniversary of the end of the Great Wars for the citizens of the 5 empires, and they're like the NORAM states, which I got to think is North American states, remind that their tank armies are roaming the streets to peacefully and gently secure its free and happy people. Pan-African Union is mentioned. Federation of Asia. Those are the only 3 of the 5 empires that are mentioned. But it takes place in this alternate universe.
No, you buried the lead on this one. The Federation of Asia is proud to have finally reached the center of the earth.
Yes, with only a tiny 10,000 casualties among the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a competitive card drafting engine building game with a sequential resource production twist, as they phrase it here. Also includes a couple campaigns that are fully replayable, unlocking content for the base game. So to play, you're going to be, over different times, you're going to use your empire to produce resources, developing it to increase its production. There's a drafting phase where you draft all of your cards. Then a planification phase where you move drafted cards to the construction area or recycle cards to speed up existing constructions. And then a production phase where resources are produced in a certain order, encouraging you to kind of optimize the chain that you use to produce everything. Then there's a heritage campaign. That's the campaign method. This isn't like another part of the game phase. During the heritage campaign, you're living a story-driven adventure where everybody's choices kind of determine the outcome. From one scenario to another, refine your strategy and get new abilities. They have a rule book available for download, so there's at least rules, and their Kickstarter included a little bit about how the game plays. I really like the art style on this. I think
it looks
it's
nice, yeah.
Really cool. The sequential production, they didn't really go into a lot of detail about. It does come with a special board that also doubles as like where you hold the extra resources, it looks like. So you do like the blue resource, and then the red resource, and then the green, and then the yellow, and then the other blue or different blue. I'm not really sure how those all work. I'm just looking at symbols and ascribing meaning to them with no context whatsoever. Comes with a few different empire cards that are double-sided for basic and advanced. Tons of different tech and projects. 160 plastic cubes. 35 general tokens, which are, I guess that's a general. 35 financier tokens, which is, I guess, a financier. The general is a woman soldier, and the financier is a dude in a suit. I guess that's what those are. If you pledge at some of the higher levels, you get some of the expansions, like the War or Peace. Or no, War or Peace is the first campaign that comes in the base game. Never mind.
Yeah, with the higher pledge, you get the campaigns with it. That's basically the difference.
Yeah. They've unlocked a few different stretch goals. I don't know. I really like the art style on this one. I wish there was a little bit more information about how the game actually played, because I might be interested in it.
It's also a French game, developed and shipping from France.
There you go. They're asterisking their Kickstarter exclusives in that any leftovers of exclusive content will be sold on their websites at events or appear in contests ran by La Boîte de Jeux, which is like the French board gaming like website, I think. BTG is where, BDJ, I think is a website that a lot of people play some board games on. Yeah, Rado says he loves it.
Great.
As does Man vs. Meeple, but I mean, they say that about literally every Kickstarter I've ever seen them on. So
fantastic.
Right on. That wraps up Kickstarters.
Kickstarters is done.
Just 2 of them this week.
Yep.
All right. That brings us over to some listener feedback then. Jeff, you had an email this week. The emails, they keep going. They sustain you.
Thankfully. There's actually 2 emails. So, first one is from Trey, who we sent that copy of Gloomhaven to many, many months ago.
Way back when.
And then never heard anything since. Until now. Just an update. I'm still listening to you guys as much as possible, and I'm playing Gloomhaven as much as possible. It's such a great game that I 3D printed an insert, and then he sent us a bunch of pictures of his 3D printed insert. It's good to know that there's a proof of life for that copy of Gloomhaven we sent you.
Yes.
Yes.
Next email is from Michael, titled SEAL Team Flicks Too Easy? Hi guys. While listening to your last episode, I was really surprised that you found SEAL Team Flicks too easy on the rookie difficulty. I have to admit that I find it very challenging. With the rules as they are, i.e. a mess, I find it all too easy to miss certain rules, especially on your first play. For example, how did you handle reaction fire? Tangos will shoot at you after every action you finish in their line of sight, not just at the end of your turn. So you should see plenty of enemy fire. Zach?
We killed them a lot before, and we were posted up in positions to where they couldn't see us do things. And I was saying, I was covering a hull, so any patrol that tried to get towards us, I was just shooting.
Big machine gun?
Yes, and I was behind the corner, so yeah.
Okay.
I did get it. We did get hit.
Did you always have an alert up then, basically?
Yeah. Oh, I had, yes. No, they knew I was there, and then they just were like, well, let's just keep on going. Boom, dead. Occasionally, someone would show up behind us, and I would get hit with them, but then I would shoot them and then shoot the other people.
Fair enough.
Yes.
The distinction between alert and not alert tangos that the rulebook makes here is largely only applies to how tangos move and is a big red herring regarding reaction fire. A tango that sees a seal is always alert.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment you end an action in the line of sight of a tango, you take reaction fire no matter what, which also gives the seal the alert token. Having the alert token on the board causes more spawning. It is worth 2 more dice. And the patrols will all move towards the area where the seal with the alert token is, which will cause more action. Does this all sound like things you did?
Check. Okay, yeah, we didn't have the alert token. That wasn't a thing. So
The alert token.
yeah.
Okay.
We knew they were alert, but we didn't have a token, and we just had a bunch of noise. But I was assuming there was an actual, I don't know.
The alert token, maybe you weren't rolling the 2 extra dice for the alert token each time?
Having the alert token on the board causes more spawning. No. I mean, we were rolling 5 or 6 dice a turn.
Okay. Maybe you should have had 7 or 8 dice a turn?
Maybe.
Okay.
And that was, but because we were learning from Paul, obviously.
Who reads about 20 to 25% of the actual words each sentence that he reads off.
Mm-hmm. But it looked like they only spawned on like 1, 2s, or 3s when he rolled.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would get like 2 to 3 a turn, maybe, sometimes more, but it was...
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just had I had good guns for suppressing fire, and I was in a spot to suppress...
Okay.
Well, suppressing fire through suppressing their ability to live.
Yes. You suppressed their life.
Yes.
Anyway, just curious. Cheers, Michael. Well, hopefully that answered your concerns. If not, we'll look forward to hearing
I'm all about calling bullshit on Paul for not knowing rules, so I'll take a look at them before our next play.
Yes. And this last email is from Monster Monster Mark.
You always have to get something wrong.
It's Jeff tradition.
Yeah.
He begins this email with no need to read this email on air. Just wanted to follow up with the roast of me. First things first, I was laughing very hard at the gym and got some weird looks. Kudos. You're welcome, Monster Mark.
Yep.
Secondly, I do follow the BGG rating scale of how often would I play this. While it's not ideal, I follow it because it's a nicely stated guideline. While I probably won't reach for Carcassonne soon, it was the game that got me into board games, so it's a sentimental rating. Star Wars Carcassonne is just an implementation of it using dice to fight over areas, which I'm not a fan of. Ascension that I rated a 5 was the Apprentice Edition, which is a 2-player version that has a limited number of amount of replayability due to the limited deck.
Gross.
Lastly, I did pay for the badge with my own gold. Cheers. Thanks for the episodes. I look forward to them twice a week. Thank you, you monster.
Yeah. So if you say, hey, no need to read this email, we're going to read it.
If you say don't,
then we won't.
If you say don't read this and there is something sensitive in there, we will not read it.
Yeah.
But it was just you at the gym, so we decided to read it.
Well, it said no need to. It didn't
No
say
need
don't.
There was a want.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lust for emails.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Just going to kill the whole vibe there.
Yeah.
That lust comment.
Mm-hmm.
There was also some feedback over on BGG. Zach, do you have that ready to go?
Yes, I do. This is from our discussion, episode 143, in a discussion on who we play with, or whatever it ended up being called.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. So first one, is from David. 2 things. One, please don't use gendered insults like because Jeff is a bitch.
Which I believe Adrian said that because you like to say that a lot.
Well, it's been a fairly recent thing, and it came from actually something you said referencing Always Sunny, because I always do the, like, you bitch! Like, well,
we're talking about the bird?
I think they do normally do it to D.
Yes, D.
D Reynolds, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So this caught me a little by surprise, because I don't know, I never thought of bitch as a gendered term.
I mean, but it is. We
did a little research, and it seems like it
Well,
typically is considered kind of a gendered one. It was also one of those where, like, I initially tried to come up with, like, a defense of it.
Yeah, and I was like, no,
And
there's
I couldn't. Well, like, even before I talked to you
Yeah.
guys about it, like, when I just saw this on BGG, I was like, but that's not how, but bitch isn't gendered. I was like, well, how would I define it? Well, shit, I don't even have a good definition for it. I just kind of use it. And then I started thinking back to, like, high school me, who used other words. Like, fairly derogatory terms for homosexuals. And I was like, oh, no, I don't mean homosexuals. I just mean that thing you're doing is that thing. And they're different, but they're really not. So we'll try.
Yeah.
Is I think where we kind of settled on this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to promise we'll never slip because we're human and we make mistakes. And this is the whole idea of this as being a gendered insult that I shouldn't use is kind of new to me for using the term bitch. So I'll try. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to take new things into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
It means I'm gonna have to come up with a new favorite insult for Jeff. I don't know where I'll go there, but we'll see.
Yep.
Patton Oswalt has a really good skit about using the right words.
Yes.
That I liked a lot that we listened to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm on your side. These words, they just change so often. I can't keep up, but I want to know. Just give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still struggling to find a good gender-neutral term to address a group of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because, like, I've always been, like, for the longest, I was like, guys. Like, hey, you guys. But some people feel that guys is particularly gendered and leaves women out. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I try to limit my use of guys to phrases like Mile High Game guys, where we're distinctly 3 guys.
Yes.
And it's,
No, yeah.
I don't know.
And it's, once you get into you can fall into a pit.
Into a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, gendered insults, and then you think about everything, and you're like, okay, well, that's one. Oh, gee, okay, I don't have enough fingers for this.
Yeah. So we will try.
Yes.
I think that's
yeah. We're not gonna stop insulting each other. We'll just have to figure out other ways to do it.
We'll just have to insult each other with equality. But yeah, it's something we'll work on. We don't want to be like that. So
number 2, the Star Wars Rebellion expansion does not require you to use the Rogue One characters and missions to use the new combat. The new combat stuff is done with a combat deck and the rules independent of the Rogue One stuff, and the rules specify you can randomize the mission cards or units or choose which ones you want to use, as well as marked in separate decks as well. We play with the new combat stuff and no Rogue One characters / missions, and it's great, though the new stuff is a nice change of pace every now and then. Well, that's really good, and that means I'm probably going to buy that then. Because
I thought it was like if you wanted to use the new characters, though, you can't use the old characters or something like that. There is something.
I think the characters are it's all or nothing, but I thought everything was all or nothing. So that's
how I thought it was.
That was the biggest reason why I never bought it. So I might.
I'm curious if
it
Ant knows that, because like I would definitely much rather play with a better combat system.
Yeah.
If I was going to play again in the future.
Yeah.
To make sure that Ant hears this, I've heard the way to summon Ant to any part of the podcast is to say Blood Bowl, Blood Bowl, Blood Bowl.
I did mention Blood Bowl earlier.
Here. So, well, I think he only goes to the parts of the podcast that talk about Blood Bowl.
Okay.
So I'm saying Blood Bowl multiple times in the hopes that this will somehow bring Ant to this part of the podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
To hear about the different rules.
Next one is from Josh. Living in a town of 10,000 people, if you have a pulse and are ever remotely interested in playing a board game, I will play anything you want, anytime you want. Working on community by co-hosting 2 monthly game nights at a local library where we get 6 to 10 people, and desperately awaiting the opening of our first brew pub where we will try to host a night. Small town gamer problems. Yeah, no, that's one nice thing about being in a bigger city is that, and I remember when I played the little board games I did before this, it was 100% just a couple people, and that was it. And so the fact that we can get upwards of 40 to 60 people on a Wednesday night,
Yes.
is and a decent amount of them newer people is astounding.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge. And we're definitely very fortunate in the gaming community that Denver has, even outside of our own gaming community we built here. I was in Salida over the weekend during part of that kayaking trip, and they're a town of like just about 7,000, I think. I think they're like 6,800 as of 2017. And I couldn't imagine like trying to get a group of gamers together in that community. I mean, you'd have to just really hope that you got lucky and like the first 4 gamers you met had your exact tastes and you guys could just be best friends, because otherwise it would be tricky. 6 to 8, 10 once or twice a month is probably pretty good for a town that size.
Yeah.
I mean, if you scale that, our group should be like in the hundreds. So yeah, totally get having that kind of restriction that fortunately we don't have to worry about.
Indeed.
And that's it.
Right on. We had a new comment over on YouTube in Paulo's Corner on episode 143, Can't Quit You. Paulo says, I take offense to those innuendos. Might have to dig some more graves for some residents of Denver. I think I should be careful about going back to Portugal. I'm a little bit concerned that it might not be safe for me there. Well, that brings all of the listener feedback to a close. If you would like to get a hold of us, there are multiple ways to do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I'm Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have Facebook and Instagram /MileHighGameGuys. We have our YouTube channel /MileHighGameGuys. And we have our BGG guild number 2731, with weekly episode posts about what we're going to be reviewing or discussing or whatever. And you can chime in before or after, however you see fit. And you can go to our website, milehighgameguys.com, or in your podcast app of choice, either one. There should be show notes for all of the episodes, including links to the news and Kickstarter items we talk about, as well as links to things like our Slack channel. If you want to join our Slack channel, we've had like 5 people join in the last week. It's been
great.
Kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
They haven't super dove into the participation yet, but it's a lot of Boyd and Paul just everywhere.
I mean,
and it
this
takes
week,
a little bit to like.
well, the thing is that like
pile
this
into
was
that.
the perfect weekend for them to do it too, because Boyd and Paul were busy with Geekway shit.
They still managed to post a lot of stuff on Slack.
You're not wrong, but a lot less.
But yeah, if you want to join and you want to carry on and join in some of the other fans that we regularly mention on the show, then you can do so. Just get active over there on the Slack channel. You can also find pictures of corgis and huskies being real cute and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then those cute husky corgi friends get named Zaff. I don't remember
Sounds
which
right.
way it went. I already forgot.
That was a whole thing from the Q&A
Yeah, the fanfic. Shipping the Mile High
Jeff
Game
and I
Master.
dogs, Adrian, Paul.
Shipped.
You and Jeff dogs that were adopted
Yeah.
by Paul and I.
Yeah.
After I left Megan and Paul and I
For your
became
true gay
lovers.
love.
Yes.
Yes.
So, hooray, shipping communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of ways to get a hold of us if you want to interact with us. I think that pretty much wraps things up. As always, huge thanks to our sponsors, Gray Fox Games, for sponsoring our Wednesday episodes. Tsukuyumi, still available for some pre-orders if you want to get in on that.
Expansion's good.
Yeah.
And talking with Matt about some of that, all those many things sounding cool, and all the quality of life changes that they're making.
It seems like that game's going to get polished up real nice.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah. And we got into a discussion about the board dongs that are on there, and that was a good conversation we had.
Seems the original designer really likes those.
Well, and he was European, and it's like not really a thing.
Nudity's not really as much of a problem.
My favorite thing is that like they sent him pictures of like
adjusted
things, like, oh, we're gonna put like a sign here or something, we're gonna put a bra on, and then like he would take those pictures and be like, oh no, there should be a penis here, and these should be boobs over here, and and then send it back to him, and they're like, no, look, we're trying. We're trying to do something.
there might be a not safe for work pack maybe in the future.
Heard a little bit about that. That was very cool.
Some other factions.
Yeah. Apparently they're like 25 factions like that the guy has.
Yeah,
in his head.
we learned the reason why some of the initiatives on them are crazy high is he's already plotted out 25 factions and where their initiatives are.
Jesus.
So that's why like the whales are initiative 21.
Yeah.
So there's 4 factions that are slower in initiative than the whales.
Yeah. We heard a couple of them. I don't want to say anything just in case, but
Yeah,
they sound
who knows if anything of
Exactly.
this ever appear.
Yeah, but they sound, some of the ones they talked about were weird.
Yeah, cool and weird, just like this whole game.
Yeah.
Right on. So yeah, go check that out. GrayFoxGames.com if you would like to pre-order. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement?
Gray Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, I am lightning, the rain transformed.
Okay. Weird, but okay. That wraps up the episode. Be sure to catch us on Friday with our review of Cryptid, and we'll be back next week with another Wednesday banter episode, and then next Friday will be a Mile High Game Guys one-shot as we dive back into Dread, the Jenga-based RPG.
Yeah.
For another one-shot.
And some public domain music, I'm sure, to go along with it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm working on some plans for that one.
Or maybe 10 to 15 seconds of something that we probably shouldn't play.
You're going to find the exact legal rules.
Yeah. It's under 30 seconds is the exact legal rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 28 seconds.
Yes. 29.9 seconds.
Yeah. So stay tuned for all those episodes coming up in the future. Thanks for listening to this episode. As always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Smokey the Jeff.
Bye.
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 Highlands area, and they got a big old dining room table, so hopefully we'll be playing more games with them soon. God damn it, Zach.
It's fine.
God damn it, Zach.
Fine.
God damn it, Zach.
Continue.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.